Hi everyone, and welcome to my Formula 1 2017 news roundup. Okay, so in the week that Autosport International is going on at the NEC, I'm kind of sad that I'm not doing the whole show. I've only done 2 days, but within those 2 days I met someone in the Formula 1 field. So in the press office at Autosport, I went past somebody who I recognised, and I thought to myself, hold on a minute, is that who I think it is? He spotted me and he thought, oh my god, somebody recognises me, somebody knows who I am. And he didn't have anyone around him. He was just going to the press office to pick up his press pass, and I went past him and said, hello Tony, and he said, oh alright, you okay? And I said yeah, and I just carried on walking. And that person was Tony Jardine from ITV's commentating team and former driver. So let's get stuck into it. At Autosport International this week, we found out that Martin Brundle from Sky F1's commentating team had a heart attack on the way to the podium, and that was crazy. Now it explains why in 2016 he was missing for the Canadian Grand Prix. Was it the Canadian Grand Prix? I think it was the Canadian Grand Prix. Wow, I can't believe he had a heart attack like during a race and he was still standing. He actually, I think he did the podium interviews on that day as well. So I'm talking about the podium for Monaco 2016, and yeah, I can't believe it. It's shocking. I wouldn't want anything to happen to him. I know he's a bit chalk and cheese with people. Some people like him, some people don't. But I think he's a good commentator. I've learnt a lot from him, just about the cars and the aerodynamics and what have you, just from him and Ted Kravitz. I wouldn't really want anything bad to happen to him, because I've followed him since the start of my Formula 1 career, going from ITV to BBC and now to Sky. I would hate if anything did actually happen to him, because I think he gives a lot of information that's valid to people watching. I know for myself, it was really good to learn Formula 1 by listening to him on commentary. So well done to Martin for surviving that and recuperating so quickly. I don't know how long it takes, but he had a stent put in, and now a stent is like a mesh kind of material that they put into your arteries to like widen them, and I didn't know what that was originally. I had to look it up, and it's quite fascinating. But back to Formula 1 news. So we're going to stick with Martin Brundle for a minute, because he's come out and said that the new 2017 cars are going to be really tough to drive. I don't know if he's actually driven a few of them, but apparently he thinks that they are going to make and break people this year. So I think that could be really, really good for us and the viewers. He actually called the cars brutal and a monster to drive. So some news on Manor. I didn't actually want to talk about them going into administration earlier on in the week, but I didn't get around to it, so I thought let's just leave it for this video. But now I think I should do a special feature on it later on in the year. But just on a quick note, what's happened to Manor is they have gone into administration, and they've got a deadline of the 20th of January to actually find a investor. I doubt they're going to do that in such a short time, but we have Ron Dennis, who may be able to sort something out and come back into Formula One on his own terms. You've got Jenson Button, who might be interested in either investing in a team or driving for a team. I doubt he will want to race for Mana in their current guys or in any guys, because they'll be still classed as back markers. So some track news. Silverstone is in trouble of losing the British Grand Prix. So what's going to happen is currently they're trying to see what they can do, trying to organise some funds. Apparently it costs them too much to put on, but I've been to Silverstone. I've seen what they do during the rest of the year when the races aren't going on. There's other races, other track days and things like that are happening. There's conferences and exhibitions. There's all sorts of things. So I don't know why they don't use the money earned from the 2016 Grand Prix to pay towards the 2017 Grand Prix and all the other things they do, like I've outlined. Obviously it's people filling their pockets, and they have a right to do so because they've invested in the place. But it's sad to think that the British Grand Prix won't be at Silverstone. It's a nice track, but I think other tracks should be able to, have the chance to host the British Grand Prix. I don't know if Brands Hatch could, but that would be a completely different playing field for the racing drivers, and it will make it very interesting. I'm not sure what kind of state Brands Hatch is in at the moment. Whenever I think of Brands Hatch, I always think of like a really small, a go-kart circuit with like really bad tarmac. So this week, Gerhard Berger has also come out with saying that Pascal Wehrlein is actually a better suit for Mercedes than Valtteri Bottas. So that's quite interesting. I don't think Wehrlein is actually up to the task, to be fair. Bottas, we've seen so many times, always hitting for, P3 and even getting it, P4, P3, P5, and he's always constantly there, even above his teammate Felipe Massa. That will be interesting to watch how Bottas succeeds in Mercedes for next year, for this year. Also, Ferrari have come out and said that they will welcome Mick Schumacher with open arms and a red carpet if he joins their young driver academy or whatever it's called. That could be interesting, but I'm not sure if he would want to follow his dad's footsteps and actually go to the Mercedes young driver academy instead of the Ferraris. But he's impressed a lot of people recently, so his career could be looking really good. Okay, so I want to try something different for these videos. So I'll be doing a few videos on obviously the run up to the 2017 season, and I want to also include the terms and some of the words that are used in Formula One. So for each video I'll have a little section. I'm going to call it, I don't know, so I don't know what to call this section. I might just call it F1 glossary, so or F1 terms and rules or something like that. So I'm going to pick 5 for each episode and just briefly tell you what they are or what they mean. So the first one we have back marker. So a back marker is a considerably slower car to the people at the front. So somebody in pole position all the way up to 10th, I guess, has priority on the road. So a back marker is somebody who isn't essentially running the same race or running in the same race as the guys at the front. So they're allowed to obviously carry on, but they are classed as back markers. So when somebody's in a higher position comes up to a back marker, the back marker must move to the side when the blue flags are shown. So there's a blue flag LED light on track at several intervals, and then there's a guy waving a flag saying, yeah, let this guy go, let this guy go. So essentially that's what a back marker is: somebody who's slower and is not running in the same race and may scupper a front runner if they don't move to the side. So that's what they are classed as, a back marker. So the next word is chicane. So a chicane is essentially a turn in the road that takes you in one direction and then another direction. So a chicane is like a zigzag kind of pattern, or a S kind of pattern, you could say. So the chicane itself is used to slow cars down. So as they're whizzing past at 200 miles per hour or whatever they reach, they will then go whoosh, 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 and then slow down in the process because they'll have to brake. So this is where Lewis Hamilton gains a lot of his time, and even some places what he will do is brake really late, and to the point where he is upon the chicane, and he will gain a couple of seconds there, and everybody else would brake probably around the 100-meter mark or the 50-meter mark that you can see on the left or the right hand side of the track, or the left hand side of the track, depending on if it's clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay, the next word is flat spot. What is a flat spot? So a flat spot is a area of a tire that has gone under a lot of stress through braking and has actually just worn off. And what tends to happen is when you're driving with a tire, a Formula One tire, the flat spot causes a lot of vibration going into the suspension and to the rest of the car. The driver can feel it. It can be quite uncomfortable for the driver, and yeah, you want to avoid that. There have been times when I've braked on my road car, and yeah, it's felt like I've flat spotted it, but no, it's fine. Road tires are completely different from racing tires. And this leads me on to the next word, compound. So there are different types of compounds for tires, and they range from hard, soft, wet, monsoon, but it's the actual what's in the rubber that makes them hard, soft, or whatever, and temperature resistant. Certain tires will have a certain characteristic. So a medium tire typically would have something like a mixture of rubber, probably some kind of polymer or sulfur or something mixed within the actual rubber to give that tire a bit more resistance to heat. And it technically is a slower tire because of how that particular compound will grip on the road and how easily it will degrade. So let's follow that on with the word degrade. So when we talk about degrading or your tire degrading, we basically mean the tire is getting worn out. When you're driving your road car, your tires might last a year, 6 months, 8 months, maybe 2 years. But a Formula One tire, I think they don't really last up to 2 hours, to be fair. And that's why you see them changing them, because once they fall off the cliff of being useful to the driver, they get swapped out. So when a tire degrades a lot, it's obviously a slower tire. It's, you know, it might explode. It can even like unravel from the rest of the tire, the actual tread. It can just disappear, and that has been known to happen. I can't remember which race it was, but there was the actual tire strip came off the wheel, and I can't remember which race or which driver it was. I'm thinking it was Mark Webber, but I could be wrong. But if you know, put a comment in the comment section below, and I'll be interested to see what it was. Okay, my memory card is now getting really full, so I'm going to leave it there. If I've missed one out, I will put it into one of the other videos. But thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to my videos, and I will see you next time. Thank you.